Coach, the game's at 11 a.m. I know it's not an excuse, but do you felt it contributed to the kind of sluggish energy we saw out there?
Well, no, I just think it was one of those games, one of those days. I like to say one of those nights, but it was early morning. But we just didn't, thought we were okay in the beginning of the game. We kind of matched them in the first quarter, but then they just took off. Guys made 24 threes. It's hard to beat any team that makes them. I think the NBA record was set this year and it was 24 threes. So I think when you have a team that shoot it as well as they did, and I hadn't, obviously hadn't seen the tape yet, but, just kind of in my mind, there were only 3 that we really made some mistakes on, and the rest of them were just some contested shots that they jumped up and made. They had a couple of pros on that team, former pros that have been on NBA teams, and they saw an NBA arena, and I think their eyes kind of lit up a little bit. So that's where we have to go. We don't really have anybody on our roster like that have, played meaningful games and meaningful minutes in the NBA yet, and it showed a little bit. But I think we remember this, and I think we'll see them again down the road.
Why do you think it was so difficult for your team to get going offensively? You're only shooting 41% and then 31 from 3.
Well, I just think when you constantly taking the ball out of the basket like we were tonight and not able to get into our transition game, which has been pretty good with us. We're not, a heavy-paced team, but for the most part we like to, to run, opportunistic for us, and we didn't get a chance to do that much at all. I think we had some success with that early on with our hit-aheads and sprays, and then again, what we talked about before the game, once we got down a little bit, everybody wanted to try the ball stuck a little more. Wanted to try to, do something to help the team, not really being selfish, but just trying to make a play and trying to get us going. And, we got, again, like I said before, we got to find a way as opposed to I got to find a way to do something. But we'll get back at it tomorrow. We got a back-to-back coming up here, so we can't go in there and just pound tomorrow. Just kind of watch some tape, look at some things, and get ready for this back-to-back this week.
What are some of the things that you can tell your team for the next game to kind of keep their confidence up, trying to get them going?
Just basically that, you look down at the stat sheet and you see a team made 24 out of 48 threes. And again, that was the NBA record. So they weren't, this team probably wouldn't lose to many NBA teams tonight if they shot the ball this well again. So, like I said, there were fewer of them that was, we made a couple mistakes on, but a lot of them were just raised up, tough shots, 4 or 5 feet behind the three-point line. Jordan Crawford's a hell of a scorer. Kevin Murphy, those guys have, tasted this league before. So, I think they showed it a little bit today, but now, we can come back and try to make it tougher the next time you see them. This one is behind us. We got a couple ahead of us before Christmas, and let's try to get back to that. At the end of the day, we're still in a good position in the overall picture of things, but we have to get better too. This is I've kind of warned against this, that even though we've had some success in the standings, we haven't really been as good as we need to be, as I see down the road for where we want to go.
Obviously, good streak that you're coming off of, but Saturday's game, it had a pretty big lead. They came back and you had to rely on the last-second 3. Are there elements from that game that you felt like you got to watch out for a bit entering today?
Well, yeah, it's the whole season. Like, again, I said it before, it's not just the wins and losses in the standings, isn't it? We still got to get better individually, defensively. I think that'll in turn help our team defense, which in turn will help our results from our defensive rating, what we keep ourselves, not so much of what, anybody else's stats say, what we keep and what we do, the style, things that how we want to play, different pick and roll coverages, how we want to rotate defensively, the less mistakes we make individually. When we do it right, we're pretty good. When we don't do it right, we get lucky sometimes and still pretty good. But that's going to hamper us in long term and big picture. We got to do things right a little more often, and I think the guys know that. That's the good part about it. They know what they need to do. They see their mistakes. We watch it all the time. It's not like I'm not watching film because we win games. We still watch almost the whole game to make sure that we can see our mistakes. And then, like I said, I tell them it's like the definition of insanity is continuing to repeat the same mistakes and expecting a different result. So we got to stop making those same mistakes and we definitely have more good days and put more wins on the left-hand side of the column as opposed to the opposite.
Coach Casey gave a lot of credit to Fred's time in the D-League being in shape and ready to play, just that NBA minutes he had. How have you seen Fred's conditioning and game evolve since you've had him?
Well, I think Coach knows that obviously with that team, it doesn't get a ton of practice, to get up and down. Obviously they practice and go over different sets from other teams, but they're not really, beating guys up, especially the heavy-minded guys. So Fred doesn't get a lot of up and down to play. A lot of his stuff comes from drill work and having to get his conditioning himself. So being able to come down here and get some actually game reps, it helps him out a ton. So it's good for those guys. It's a little different feel for us when we have Bruno and Fred, but that's who we are. We got to make those adjustments on the fly. Sometimes not knowing if they're going to be with us today or not, but they're part of our team. They're part of who we are, and we've been pretty good when they've been with us. We just wasn't good today.